Well, here's a pretty unfortunate part that makes me think I should have just left the garage floor cement. So I bought this epoxy coat stuff from Menards and mixed it up exactly how I was supposed to. And it's got all kinds of chunks, like where it's hardened already, all over the surface. So I think I'm gonna have to run the rest of it through a paint strainer and just hope this stuff even works. But this is probably, yeah, this is unfortunate. I don't know what the heck happened. I don't know if it's just old material or what, but it was a 2-part epoxy. The bags were completely separated and I mixed it up for the 3 to 5 minutes like it said. I let it sit for the half hour for the temperature that it is, and this is the result I'm getting out of it. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's all clumpy and pretty terrible looking. Not good.
Oh, sorry.
Not good.
It says coated concrete produces a smoother surface and can become slippery when wet.
Well, it's chunks. There's hardened chunks in it. I need to strain it and just hope that it even dries like it's supposed to. Well, so I called Menards and told them that this bag was filled with chunks. I mean, you can even see the chunk right there in the tip as I was pouring it out. And he said, go ahead and bring them in. They gave me 3 new boxes. I already got the one split and started to mix. So I guess we'll find out. I'm gonna get this bag opened up and start on a different part of the floor. I did do a 10 by 10 square over here because I didn't know what was going on when I first started. And I figured I might as well finish off a square so it looks uniform. The big chunks that are in there, I got a scraper and I scraped up a bunch of them, but there's still a whole bunch left. What I'm gonna do is wait to do this until probably one of the last squares. I'm gonna probably start down here and kind of come across this way and work my way up till I get to here. Hopefully by the time I get here, it's dry enough that I can scrape that off, and then I'll put another coat and then I'll throw the decorative stuff in there. If this one's a little bit messed up, it was my fault for not stopping immediately when I started to see the chunks. Yeah, this sucks. This was not planned. I was supposed to have, by right now, the time that it is, I wanted at least half of this floor done so it had the chance to sit all night long and dry, because I only have a couple more days before it rains. I still have to finish 2 more pieces of metal on the roof and cut that insulation, do all the corners. This is definitely a setback that I wasn't expecting. So fingers crossed that there's nothing wrong with the rest of these, which these all just came in and he said they never had a problem with this before. Looking at how beat up the other boxes were, I'm thinking somebody maybe returned them after they let them freeze last winter, and that's what went wrong. But no matter what, something was wrong with it, and yeah, was not expecting to have that problem. So I got this stuff all painted out, and you can just see how smooth. There's no clumps in it whatsoever. Like even in the pan, which you can see how it dried, and there's no chunks anywhere. This stuff over here, I'm gonna have to go through and try and scrape out all of these chunks that are all over it. I got a lot of them off with an ice scraper, so, but yeah, there's all those chunks were in the first batch. I don't know how or why. The second one turned out perfect. So I'm gonna just scrape this and then I'm gonna put another coat over it and hope it doesn't peel in the future and doesn't cause me any other problems. Well, bag number 2 turned out absolutely smooth as well. And I was able to take a ice scraper and scrape a ton of the chunks off. There's a couple little pieces here and there that I missed, but it also looks like I caught a couple bugs. We're gonna bury them in this flake so you won't see those anyway. And I think it's turning out pretty good. Granted, I wanted this done before the sun went down, which obviously I'm a little late on that, but it is dark outside, but we're gonna get it done anyway. Well, everything was going really good again until I got to this package, which apparently, I don't know when that happened, but it seems like it's still pretty much liquid. And yeah, the freaking pouch was popped open and I didn't realize it. When I pulled it out of the box, I stuck my hands in it and it ripped it open. So I'm gonna mix it up in a bucket. It should work. Oh, I just can't win. I don't know how's this one look. And it was the packaging on the top, so that's so weird. But yeah, this one's fine. So I'm gonna have to mix the 2-part epoxy into a bucket, and that's, yeah, this is not going as good as I'd hoped. Well, hopefully crisis averted. I managed to mix it up into a clean bucket. Hopefully we don't have any more issues, but it's turning out really good. I can't wait to see what it looks like after we get the clear coat on it. Well, my floor, the first coat is finally done and dry. We put the garage gray down with the flake in it, and now we're gonna come back over with the high gloss clear. I wasn't necessarily the best at distributing those things evenly. We seem to have some pretty good sized clumps in some areas where they're just kind of missing. So yeah, when you have a 10 by 10 area to try and throw all the way to the back, like where this is dry at, with this being wet, we were throwing like this and we just couldn't quite get to the line. Plus it was dark out, and I actually have a spot where you can kind of see the concrete through here, which is very unfortunate. So we're definitely going to clear coat it, which will help seal that. So my garage floor is finally done. I'm pretty happy with the results. The one spot that I had where I had not had enough paint, I was lucky enough to have enough to kind of cover it again, and I got most of that spot filled in. But with the gloss coat on there, it turned out pretty good. The product that I used was this Rust-Olem garage floor coating in gray gloss, and then I put this high gloss clear over top of it to seal in all the flake. Otherwise the flake kind of sat on top of the paint, it would come off. It also has a sand additive so that it's not slippery, which didn't lay out as smooth as I would hoped. You can kind of see the lines where there's a lot more sand. Using a roller, it didn't distribute it very good, but overall I'm pretty happy. I really hope I don't have a problem with this corner where that stuff was messed up at the beginning, but I think it looks pretty good. The only thing I can see is that there is a little spot that kind of came through right here where I think the bottom stuff didn't mix properly with the chunks that were in it. Speaking of which, I'm going to go through and look at that bag right now and show you what actually was in that. So this was the first bag. They told me not to return it. I took the strainer and I put that in a couple of Ziploc bags to show the chunks. You can actually see a couple of them in the paint tray here. And it's really weird. It says this stuff has like over a 5-year shelf life, and it's not supposed to go bad. So I don't know what really happened. But I'm going to cut some of this open a little more so we can look inside and see the chunks. Yeah, it definitely did not separate out good. Oh yeah, it's just filled. It's also got liquid in it still. I'm gonna have to dump that out and let it dry. But yeah, there's all kinds of I'm not sure. It definitely did not mix properly, and none of the other bags came out that way. Every other one, I'll actually cut one open of those so you can see what that looks like inside. Yeah, so inside here, it's like all full of chunks, and this bag basically has a little bit of liquid left in it, and there's not any chunks in there at all. I think a little bit of rainwater got in there. It rained this morning too, so maybe that's not the best comparison, but there's definitely something wrong with this one. You can see the chunks floating on top of the liquid, and I just hope it doesn't cause a problem in the future for that first slab of concrete that I did.